Hey sweeties, Ann here. This is a special Halloween video where I share my top 13 horror movies with you guys. This is not in order of my favorites, it's actually in a timeline order. The first movie is a classic, and that's the first original Carrie. This movie I've seen so many times, and it's definitely a freaky movie. It's known for its crazy prom scene that is very scary, along with the ending. I just think this movie leaves you feeling very odd at the end, and it's definitely worth watching. Burnt Offerings is another older movie, but not as well known. It's a movie I've seen many, many times, though, ever since I was young. And I think it's my favorite haunted house horror movie, and it also has a very scary ending that I always remember. The Shining is a horror classic, and it's hard to even put into words how amazing this movie is. Jack Nicholson played the perfect role, and this movie is just so amazingly beautiful and terrifying all at the same time. Next is the first Friday the 13th. This movie I've watched so many times, I think the most out of all of them. It's the horror movie I would put on when I had my friends over when I was young. The first one starts off the whole trilogy of Jason the Killer, and what's really unique about the first one is that it explains the backstory of Jason and how it all began, and I think that makes it very interesting and even more scary. There's also a twist in the first Friday the 13th that no one expects. Candyman is one of the scariest movies for me till this day, and I think it always will be. It's not necessarily a scary movie that I like to watch that often, but I used to watch it a lot somehow. It's a legend story, but it's definitely one that's more realistic, and that makes it even more scary. The Ring is an excellent horror movie. I love the story. I think it's very entertaining and eerie and keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's basically a ghost story about a daughter and her mother. There's a lot of scary parts to this movie. They might not be gory or bloody, but they're definitely eerie and scary. I'm a big fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I love the original one in 1974. That's a classic. But this remake that they made in 2003 is definitely my favorite. I just think the characters are great. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time, and it's just a very scary killer movie, and I just really love this remake. Saul had to make it on my list. Really, the whole trilogy does. I love them all. But for warning, they are very bloody and gory movies, and a lot of times you will probably have to turn your head and not look. That's just the kind of movie that they are. But I love the storyline. I think it's a very clever and smart story, yet very messed up and scary at the same time. The Descent is definitely not that much of a known movie, but I'm happy I came across it because I really like it and enjoy it. It's really scary and freaky and different from any other kind of movie, really. It definitely has a dark, claustrophobic scariness to it, and you really get wrapped up in the characters and their storylines. Surprisingly, I have another remake of a classic movie on my list, and this is the Rob Zombie version of Halloween. I love all the Halloweens, but this remake is amazing. I absolutely love it. And what makes this one unique for me is that they really focus on Michael Myers as a little kid, and he is the killer in this trilogy. They really focus on his story and how it all started, and that's a big part of the movie in the beginning, and I think that really makes it more unique and deep. Finally, I could talk about The Ruins. This is 100% the scariest movie I've ever seen. It left me feeling so disturbed after watching it the first time, and I only watched it one other time after that. You just get so wrapped up in the characters and what they're going through, and they go through so many messed up and scary and freaky things. I can't even explain it. It just leaves you feeling very unsettled and disturbed after watching it. Orphan is a freaky, really good movie. Definitely not gory or bloody, but just one of those scary movies. And it's about a little kid, and all the horror movies that are about little kids that are messed up are always great horror movies. And another great thing about this movie is the ending. There's just a twist that you can't even imagine, So if you haven't seen it yet, you will definitely like the ending. Annabelle is the newest movie on my list, and I just saw it this week in the movie theater, Halloween week 2014, and I'm glad I did. This movie was so scary and had me jumping in my seat at the movie theater, and I haven't jumped that much during a horror movie in a long, long time. The story is very scary, has you on the edge of your seat, and not boring at all, so I definitely recommend you guys going to see this movie. I hope you guys enjoyed my top 13 horror movies. Please have a safe and happy Halloween. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.